Sorapods in the Isle is something that people have wanted ever since Evrima's release, which was over 5 years ago, and Camarasaurus seems like it's going to be the first of many sauropods introduced into the Isle. With this, there is plenty of room to theorize about sauropods and their implementation into the Isle, and hopefully they make them all play differently from each other, specifically Brachiosaurus and Camarasaurus, as they have an extremely similar body plan and are only different in size. And I personally want Camarasaurus to be a true force of nature, be a threat to almost everything on the map and a true force to be reckoned with. While Camarasaurus is powerful as an adult, its juvenile form will be far less imposing, and it should be a real challenge to get a Camarasaurus from a juvenile to an adult. With juveniles being extremely weak and slow for their size, it should be a real challenge to grow a Camarasaurus from a hatchling to an adult. And you shouldn't even have parents if you're nested in, as I personally don't see Camarasaurus as a creature that sticks with its nest after the eggs are laid. Major threats to juveniles should be predators such as Allosaurus, Ceratosaurus, and Carnotaurus, and these predators should have little difficulty taking on a juvenile. Once a Camarasaurus reaches around 60 to 70% growth, it should start growing rapidly, needing extra food to compensate for its increased size. When it reaches adulthood, it should be one of the most dangerous creatures on the map, being only threatened by packs of large carnivores and other large herbivores, such as members of its own species. Combat between Camarasaurus should be deadly, and they should be able to rear up on their hind legs and spar, like shown off in the concept art. And I personally believe this type of sparring should be introduced into the game. It would be extremely unique to see sauropods rearing up on their hind legs, using their sheer bulk to defeat their opponent, potentially using their claw on their foot to inflict major damage. When not sparring, Camarasaurus should be a herd animal, living with other members of its species and constantly on the move looking for new food sources, with juveniles joining the herd later in their lifespan due to increased aggression from the adults. While Camarasaurus should be a threat to adversaries, it should also benefit certain creatures on the roster. One way is making it an extremely messy eater, knocking down leaves or fruit onto the ground, allowing certain herbivores such as Pachycephalosaurus to get resources they weren't able to reach before. While some creatures can get food from a Camarasaurus, other creatures should be able to climb onto and get a ride, specifically Pteranodon, Pterodactylus, and Hypsilophodon. All of these creatures could potentially benefit from sticking around a Camarasaurus, as they would be able to get access to new food sources with the Camarasaurus being a messy eater, and parasites that could stick on the back of Camarasaurus, and they could also use Camarasaurus as a source of transportation. But these creatures should be careful, as if they get caught under the Camarasaurus, they would get trampled in an instant. While Camarasaurus would be peaceful to some creatures, its interactions with other creatures on the roster wouldn't be the same, specifically to large herbivores and carnivores. Apex predators such as Acrocanthosaurus, Spinosaurus, Tyrannosaurus, and Giganotosaurus could have an extremely difficult time taking on a solo Camarasaurus, and they would most likely have to form a group to take one down, with specifically Giganotosaurus specializing on large prey such as sauropods. The battle between these two should be legendary, with the Giganotosauruses needing an immense amount of skill to take down a lone Camarasaurus during these confrontations, which could take hours, and the winner would be decided either by the Camarasaurus getting an opportunity to brawl its predators, or the Giganotosaurus buying its time and letting its prey bleed out. There is one more creature I would like to touch on. That's Shantungosaurus, the ultimate rival of Camarasaurus. These two creatures should be extremely territorial towards each other, and each one should try to drive the other out of their migration or patrol zones, as they would compete for a limited amount of resources. Their confrontations would be extremely deadly, with both sides having to take immense caution during their fights. These two playables should be the epitome of on-site, as neither one of them would be able to tolerate the other species in their vicinity. I believe more rivalries between herbivores is an extremely interesting concept that needs to be explored, and these two titans being extremely territorial towards each other works wonders. Ultimately, Camarasaurus should be a true force of nature, affecting the world around it in many different ways, and helping certain playables survive and fighting against others. I'm personally most excited for Camarasaurus out of all the sauropods, and I hope my yap session has convinced y'all on why Camarasaurus is a true force to be reckoned with. But what are y'all's thoughts and opinions on this video? Do you love it so much you're gonna give me a small loan of $1 million? Or hate it so much you're gonna burn down your local Buc-ee's in the name of Suchomimus? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, and make sure to like and subscribe, as that means the world to me. I have a community Discord server, so consider checking that out if you want your art to be featured at the end of a video. And I also have a channel membership, which supports me immensely, so consider checking that out as well. But I have to leave now, so bye-bye y'all, have a nice day.